education, specifically how you can talk education with your kids. So this is a special segment just for you parents this morning. Of course, we're wrapping up the school year, so we brought in a very special guest this morning. I want to introduce you to Angella Eanes. Now, she's a tutor, and she's here to talk to us about the important conversations that a lot of parents might need to have with their kids this time of year. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
So you and I were talking a little bit before the segment that at the beginning of the school year, that's really important to kind of set that standard of success and get them on the path. So what is important at the end of the year? What do you talk to kids about now?
It's really important at the end of the year to remember that this is the end, that the pathway you started in September is where you're going to be now in May. And a grade is the assessment of one subject, one teacher at one time, and it doesn't define your child. And so if you're in a place you don't want to be now isn't the time to be angry or punish or fight about it. That it's the time to decide, okay, the next September we want to start on a good place. But where you are now is where you are, and being angry or being upset isn't going to change that.
How often do you get calls from parents that go, my daughter has really bad grades, I think she's going to get a D, this is not going to work out well, we talked about it at the beginning of the school year, what do we do now?
At this time of year, I usually hear from 2 or 3 parents a week of, okay, we got to fix this now. And I'm often like, well, I can do what I can to help, but the grade is what it is at this point, because one exam grade may not change that.
Right.
That's when I try to talk to parents, if they're listening, that what we can do is start for the summer or for the fall and make sure you don't end up in this hole next May.
Now, what kind of issues are you usually running into with kids who maybe the mom says, well, I still want to get them in there, I still want them to ace this exam and see if they can turn things around? Are you seeing kids who are emotionally affected by this kind of a push-pull?
A lot of kids don't care at this point.
Really? Okay.
If they've been carrying this grade for weeks or months, they know where their grades are, they know how they're doing, and if they're doing poorly, they're really resigned that I just can't do this.
How do you turn that kid around?
Encouragement is a lot of it. Okay. Let's see what you can do. Let's see what you can accomplish before this is over. And let's talk about how we can do this better next year. How can we what skills can we develop? What practices can we put into place so that next May we can be successful? But the one thing you don't want to do is to tear them down, to put them down, to make them feel like this is hopeless, because then they go into next year still looking at this is hopeless.
So what do you do then over the summer? Is that a chance for to kind of gain some ground? Is it best used as a complete break? I mean, what do you think's best?
The complete break is not a good idea.
Okay.
There's actually research that shows something that's called brain drain, and that research shows that kids lose up to 3 months of the learning and the skills that they develop during the school year. During the summer, it all just kind of goes away because it doesn't get used. There are a lot of simple things that parents can do. Things like, if they're going on summer trips, get the kids involved in the budget and have them using their math skills. Figuring out mileage, figuring out how much is it going to cost if we want to go to this restaurant instead of this one.
So it doesn't have to look like school homework.
Right. It doesn't have to feel like homework, but things that get their brains engaged in the skills they've been learning for the rest of the year. Same thing with reading. If you're going to a new place for vacation, read up and do the research on what's here to do, but also what's the history, what is there to learn, where are there places for us to go as a family.
Okay.
If you're not traveling, just being at home, having the kids help cook.
Okay.
Reading recipes is following instructions, getting involved with measurements and numbers, playing board games even
so kind of keep it fun, keep it interesting.
And I have a lot of students who are actually choosing to continue to work with me during the summer, and it's 1 hour once a week, but it's to keep that brain.
Avoid that brain drain.
Right.
Well, Angella, thank you so much for coming in this morning. Again, this was Angella. She joined us. She's a tutor, and she was able to talk to us a little bit about what you can do right now at the end of the school year and then over the summer to make sure that next school year is as successful as it can be. Well, make sure you stay with us, guys. Your morning sports update